All right, everybody. Welcome to the newest episode of the On Fire podcast. We are back after a short hiatus for the holidays. Merry ho ho ho, you motherfuckers. I believe this is episode 8. We are joined by a very, very special guest today.
Very.
The biggest Anaheim Ducks fan I know, and the only Anaheim Ducks fan that I'm pretty sure exists. Colton Verschoor, how you doing?
Oh, great. Hey.
Colton, tell us a little
Uh,
bit about yourself.
uh,
What team do you really cheer for?
I'm a big Nathan McKinnon fan. Um, love the Avalanche and the Flames, and um, yeah, more so a Avs fan than a Flames fan.
You're a mighty drunks guy above all else. Eh?
Yeah, Mighty Drunks. That's the team that
Yeah,
I love the most.
that's the number one team in his books. So, we're on location at Colton's house. Had to pull up, for the new pod, and we've got the Austin Matthews jersey on Blake here. We've got the Nate Mack jersey on Brandon here, and then we've got the Anaheim Ducks shit on Colton, of course, because who else
Yeah,
would ever wear that?
huge Ducks guy.
Big old Ducks guy, quack quack quack, you know, flying bee type shit. We're on that. These are obviously not my jerseys or anyone's jerseys. These are Colton's jerseys because who else would like have these? Like who cheers for the Maple Leafs? Let's be honest here.
Well,
And
me, does.
Nate Mack is sick though. I will give you that. Nate
Nate
Mack
Mack
is
is
sick.
sick. I love
He's a
that kid.
beauty. Good old
He's a
Canadian
stud.
boy.
Having a slow year this year, but you know
Like
what?
every year.
He's sick.
Like
Gotta
every
love
year.
him.
Tune into this video on YouTube here so you can see our jerseys. You can see us talk about it. See this whole thing. I think it's a better atmosphere to watch it on YouTube than listen on Spotify. But maybe do both. Whatever tickles your fancy there. So we're gonna get on with the podcast here. Enough introductions. Let's get on with who's been on fire in this past week of no hockey. There has been nothing going on, but we're gonna talk about who's been on fire. All right. Colton, who we got at number one here?
We got Braden Point.
Braden Point.
He came back from his injury.
And he scored a beauty, didn't
He
he?
scored an absolute beauty.
Yeah, that
It
was
was
a
a
very good
gorgeous
one.
goal. The guy has insane speed, and he can put the puck in the back of the net certainly.
Yeah, no, he's nice and small. He's very fast, got good hands, and he really showed that coming back from his injury. He
Calgary
was
boy.
out for Calgary boy. He was out for 1 month and 8 days, and boy did he come back swinging. He came back with a vengeance, and he scored. Played 3 games and got 5 points, including 3 goals in those 3 games. So, what do you got to say about Braden Point, Colton?
That's surreal, man. Like to come back after not playing for a month and 8 days, and then like putting up that many points is unreal. Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. Blake, what do you got to say?
For sure it brings back his fantasy pool value. All his trade values come back because he's finally putting up points again, and now people don't have to be pissed off that they used their first round pick on Braden Point. like
Shout
me.
out Blake. Yeah, no. Yeah, I like it, it does bring up his value and everything, and we'll see that in fantasy pools and just kind of anywhere that's based off of how he's doing right now. He's just been kind of underrated all year just because he hasn't had a reason to um, be excited about this year because he's really good when he does play. He's not like Nate Mack where he only shows up in the playoffs. He's really good. That's not a dig at Nate Mack. I'm just saying, like, just with the pattern that's
it's
been going.
facts. It's facts.
Yeah, low key facts, and he's he's really been good in the regular season and in the playoffs. Like, if I were Tampa, I'd prioritize this guy over a lot of their roster. He's really good. Nice and fast. He's literally the epitome of what hockey is becoming, small and fast. And yeah, no, he's really good. I'm glad that he's back. He brings a good energy to the league. He's
Yeah.
good to see play.
And he can carry a team without Stamkos. So
Yeah,
that's been
exactly.
proven in the postseason. I mean, when Tampa won it 2 years ago, like Braden Point was an absolute beast, scoring all those overtime goals and
Mhm.
I'd argue he's
coming
more
off
valuable
that.
than Stamkos.
Yeah, I'd
That's
agree with you. I'd agree with you.
Yeah,
He's
more
up there.
valuable than Stamkos. Yeah, that like honestly, that's actually probably accurate because Stamkos was getting to the tail end of his career. Um, yeah. Up next, we've got Florida, who had a 9-3 win against Tampa last night. Pretty big win for them. I'm just going to break down the stats for you. Huberdeau had 5 points in that game. 5 points. He had 1 goal, 4 assists,
Good for you,
and
Cole.
that makes for 8 points in his last 3 games. Hoobie dooby doo, how do you do? You know? um,
5-2 win over the Canadians.
yeah, today, yeah, they just don't stop, and I feel like every episode we talk about these guys. Hey, like,
Yeah, man. Freaking Barkov on a Friday night. Like
yeah,
that guy gets dirty.
throwback. Barkov gets down and dirty on those Friday nights, man. Let me tell you.
It's good to see too, because in an earlier episode in the podcast, we were saying how Huberdeau should step up and carry the team. But recently, oh man, he's been popping off.
Yeah,
3 points, 5 points.
Yeah, he's been doing crazy. He's been doing bits for the team. Like, I only said he needed to step up because he was doing good. It's just he wasn't on that pace that he's usually on to get like 100 points or near it. And like he was like second or third on the team, right? Where now he's pretty close to top of the league for assists, and like the only person above him is Connor McDavid, best player in the league. And it's just he's getting back to that Huberdeau that Florida knows and loves. And Barkov seemed to have an extra kick in his step yesterday. Maybe he was hyped for the hookers later that night or whatever he had going on. Maybe a little bit extra Coke in his water bottle or something. And Duclair is also like a freaking force out there, man.
So underrated.
He is so underrated. I picked him up like pretty early in the year in the pool, and he had 2 goals and 3 points in that 9-3 win. So he was a big part of that, and he has 5 points in his in 3 games this week, which is pretty nasty. And yeah, what do you think about Duclair?
He's been on probably, I think, like 5 different teams in his career. He's been tossed around like a freaking beach ball, but he's kind of playing to I think his full potential with Florida. I mean, he's having a pretty good year, putting pucks in the net.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the power play, I believe,
Yeah,
and he's doing good in Florida.
I think he's always been a good player. He's always been super underrated. Like I don't understand how someone with that talent can get passed around like all of Colton's girls on Snapchat does. Like he's played for so many different teams, and he hasn't slowed down on any of them. Like he's always been good, and I saw that from the beginning of the year, just like who he is, and he's just really underrated. I don't understand why no one talks about him. He doesn't really take breaks. He's a good forechecker, and he's just a good asset to the team. And I think he's going to be a big part of, and already is a big part of Florida's success. So, what do you got to say about Duclair, Blake? Anything to add?
I think, like, going back to what we said about like how he's been passed around, I think he's found a home in Florida now. Finally, he's reached his potential. He was supposed to be part of the future for Arizona.
Bennett,
Ben,
shout out Bennett.
Sam Bennett's a big piece of their depth. That's to have in your like middle six for sure. That's a great piece, and I think he also contributes like physically and points wise to their success.
Yeah, it's nice to see him in the top 6 rather than top 9.
Well,
No,
it's been said before. Say it again. He had many opportunities in Calgary.
Yeah, Bennett had a lot of opportunities for sure, but yeah, not much more we can say about Florida. We talked about them every single episode, and they're just surprising everyone once again.
They're on fire.
They are on fire, and they will stay on fire unless their whole team gets injured. They were missing their best player, Jumbo Joe, for a bit there, but now that he's back, I think this will really turn the corner for Florida, and I think that'll push them over the edge to get the Stanley Cup this year. So, um, it really also just kind of shows Tampa's weakness, like when they don't have Vasilevsky, how bad it gets. Really, like everyone's saying Vasilevsky's only good because he's on Tampa, but then Tampa plays like shit and loses 9-3 when they don't have
Like, yeah,
him.
that's
He's
just squirrely, man.
him, yeah, fucking squirrely dandling it out there. Like Andre Vasilevsky and Marc-Andre Fleury are the two most athletic goalies in the NHL right now. Carey Price as well. And like that athleticism really sets them apart. They're very they always have their eye on the puck. And honestly, every picture I see of Vasilevsky, it looks like he's on coke or something. I don't know if that's to hone in his skills, but his eyes freaking scare me, man. And there's no way that you're getting anything past that guy.
No, like the difference between a Robin Leonard and an Andre Vasilevsky, like Robin Leonard stands up for he's not a butterfly goalie. Like he stands up for so much of his saves, and like Vasilevsky's constantly like post to post, and
Yeah.
he's a beast, man.
I also think Vasilevsky's quicker than someone like Robin Lehner.
Oh, yeah.
Like people like Robin Lehner, I just see as this big, like fat guy that just is a little
Stirring the
slow.
pot.
Yeah, stirring the pot, and like Robin Lehner's not bad. It's just I would rather have Fleury, Carey Price, Vasilevsky. They're just straight up better than. I'd rather have Markstrom, where some people say Lehner's better than Markstrom, but just those people who like someone like Lehner shouldn't like they don't have to be quick. They can rely on their positioning and their angles, their rebound control, and all the stuff that like are important to a goalie. But Robin Lehner just doesn't really do it as good as other people do.
That's right. No, I'd agree with you.
All right. So for the third and final on fire this week, we have Carolina, especially their game today, where they were down 4-0 against Columbus, and then they scored 7 unanswered goals. Unanswered. They really took it to them, and
Nice defense, Columbus.
yeah, good D. We love that D.
Let that, let that D.
So they had 5 players with 2 points in that game today. Which is really really good for them. We got the Winter Classic game on right there, and Minnesota just scored. So, anyways, back to Carolina. No, like I think a lot of their players, like this is another team that we just can't stop talking about. They're always doing something, and yeah. What do you think, Cole?
You know, I love Carolina's forward group. Like their top nine are surreal. Sebastian Aho, that guy's top 10 player in the league for sure, and like he gets so many points. Like he has a point on almost every goal in Carolina. And a guy like Turbo setting them up, and Svechnikov,
Yeah,
they're solid.
definitely very good forward group there. Like you said, people like Turbo and Martin Neckass are also just very underrated and are a big part of that success. Blake.
I have fun watching them when they're on TV. The rare times when they're playing on the TV, got the cable going. Kakeyemi is notable for me recently because he's got in his past 5 games looks like 7 points in his last 5 games to get himself to double his point totals in the past 30.
You
And
think that's 6 million notable?
no,
I think it's
but if he keeps it up, yeah, for sure. But no, not yet. Especially with how look at 15 points in 30 games. That is not 6 mil.
No, yeah, I think he's definitely
severely
overpaid.
overpaid.
Yeah,
Severely.
good thing that's not a long contract. In other news across the league, Ovechkin breaks the all-time power play goals record. Um, all right, like Ovechkin has, I just want to mention how Ovechkin has .613 goals per game, and Gretzky had .601 at the end of his career. So he has a little bit of a edge on Gretzky there, and he's only getting better. Is something I also want to mention. Like he's really ramping up, and um, now I got a question for you guys. Who do you think are the top 5 all time for power play goals? Colton, I'll let you go first in order.
Ovechkin, Gretzky, Yager, Brett Hall, and Bobby Orr.
Who do you think, Blake?
Well, Ov, Gretzky. Let's go with Lemieux, Martin St. Louis, and Bure. That's a that's a hot one.
We got a consensus Gretzky at 2 and Obi at 1, right? Well, you're fucking wrong. Gretzky's at number 17.
No way.
He's not even in the top 5. He's not in the top 10. He's not even in the top 15.
That's insane.
What a bust. No wonder Edmonton traded him. Like, I'm going to pull a little John Tortorella here. Oh, I could score the most points in NHL history. I could score the most goals in NHL history. Yeah, but you can't score on the power play. Not much more needs to be said. Get him out of here. You know,
No reason no wonder he hasn't been signed since
yeah,
19.
he hasn't been signed since 1999, and people wondered. Anyways, Ovechkin is at number one with 275, and Gretzky is at number 17 with 204. 71 total more goals, and Ovechkin's not done. He is not stopping here, baby. The train don't stop here. He keeps going.
140. That's all he needs.
That's all he needs.
I think Austin Matthews is going to break that record one day, personally.
I don't want to hear it. I'm just kidding. No, Austin Matthews is good. We'll give him a couple years to see where he's at, and I think he's got a pretty sick shot, and
He's got a long career ahead of him, so it'll be interesting to see.
hopefully he can get a little bit more durable and get that wrist in check.
Yeah, that'd be
So
nice.
the actual top five, I'm sure you're all wondering, is Ovechkin at number one. No surprise. No surprise. Okay, okay. Dave Andrechuk at number two. Who the fuck is that guy? Brett Hull at number three. I think you had him at number four. The Finnish Flash, Timu Solani at number four. That's a
Go
good
Ducks, baby.
one. Go Ducks. He's a Jet, okay? He's not a Duck. No, I'm just kidding. Luke Robitaille at number five. So it's a little bit of a surprising list. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, what were all these like all stars like doing? Obviously, not playing on the power play. I guess like Gretzky just was like off in the corner doing whatever the hell he does. Like, I don't know.
Or behind the net.
Yeah, I think Danny Heatley is probably in that top five if
Right in the rock star zone.
right in
Every
the rock
power
star
play.
zone on the goal line, right where you want him.
He's the most lethal.
Yeah, he is the most lethal player in NHL history. So,
Oh my god.
all right, we're gonna close off today's podcast with a off the top of your head once again. Kind of making a little bit of a tradition here. You never know. You just never know. Colton,
Yeah.
who are your top five teams and then your top five players in the league? Your favorite, not based off skill, your top five teams and players. So we'll start with teams ranked.
Okay, so Colorado, Calgary, Toronto, Anaheim, and Carolina.
Very good, very good. And what kind of puts them in that spot there?
You know, Colorado, I love Nathan McKinnon, man. And
Kale Mack.
yeah, man, McCarr is sick. No, but like I fell in love with McKinnon a couple seasons ago and just kind of started watching the Avalanche more, and they overtook Calgary as my favorite team.
Yeah. All right, now you're. I think I kind of relate to that. Like, I'm not. I haven't been a big football fan, but this year I tried out fantasy football for the first time, and I've just kind of grown to be a big Kelsey fan. Not necessarily like Kelsey being a big Kelsey fan, just because of his energy and like who he is on and off the field. He kind of made me in part a Kansas City fan because I like their coach, I like the rest of their team, I like their quarterback, I like all this, but it's really just him that brought it to me. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that with the Blackhawks dynasty and Patty Kane. I feel like that's the same for a lot of people. So, your top five players, Blake. I mean, Colton.
So Nathan McKinnon, number one. Austin Matthews, number two. Number three,
Manny Barros.
Barzal for sure.
Yeah.
Number four, Elias Lindholm. And number five, I'm falling in love with Trevor Zegras, man.
Trevor's
Shout out
sick.
Oscar.
Yeah, shout out. I was just gonna say you and Oscar should hang out. Yeah. So what kind of makes like all those players fit in your top five? Like what kind of makes them your favorite? Like what's like exciting about them?
McKinnon, so much. I mean, the Tim Hortons hockey commercials, and he's such a shifty player. Like besides McDavid, um, McKinnon is, I think, the shiftiest player.
He's just got that agility
Yeah, exactly.
and those edges.
I mean, there's better goal scorers than McKinnon, like Draisaitl, Matthews, but like he's shifty right up there with McDavid.
Yeah.
Matthews, I just love that he can score goals. I love his shot; so unique. The freaking toe drag release, pretty interesting. Kind of changing the game of hockey. Like Bedard's kind of doing that.
Yeah.
He's gonna go first overall here.
Yeah,
next year.
I think that's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like speaking of Connor Bedard, first game back in the WHL after the World Juniors getting canceled, gets a hattie. Oh my God, I wanted to watch that guy so bad, man. He was so good.
He was
Like,
fun to watch.
yeah, so I think that does it for episode 8, Colton. It was a pleasure, more than a pleasure to have you on the
Absolute
podcast.
honor.
I know you're a big listener, and I'm sure all the
Huge
fans will
fan.
be happy to
Huge
hear
fan.
from you. How was your experience today?
It was lovely.
Good. Well, we hope to have you back on a future episode. Check it out on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. So anywhere, tell your grandma, tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your friends. If you know any NHL players, tell them to hit me up. We'll get them on the pod. That would be sick. All right. Well, we'll see you next Sunday. You ready? Yeah. Beauty.
That was a good one.